Hello, thanks for watching Astro Truth. Let's have a look at the way astrology is headed this week. It's a real interesting week. Thanks everyone, by the way, who watched the video at the weekend, and thanks to all the new subscribers. It's great to see things growing. It's great to connect with you. It's great to know I'm reaching people, really, because this astrology is too easy to ignore, really. You know, I think it's well worth getting the information out there. So let's take a look at where we're going today. As I said in the kind of week ahead weekend on the week ahead video on the weekend, get those words right, despite the fact that we're in Mercury retrograde, there are actually 3 really good days coming up. We're looking at Thursday 14th, Friday 15th, Saturday the 16th, some really positive things going on, even actually with Mercury, including Mercury in it. So it's looking good, but let's focus on today, really. That's what this video is going to be all about. The moon is the moon is actually just coming to the end of Taurus right now and is void on her way into Gemini. The void, of course, starts 9:30 a.m. UTC UK time, so it's actually started already as I'm doing this. During a void, of course, period, better not to do anything that attracts any new action. It's just really, really good for going over things that you've done in the very recent past, making sure everything's right, putting dots on your letter I's, putting crosses on your T's, getting your ducks in a row is a British expression. You ever seen like an old British kind of 1950s television? You might see a lot of people had 3 porcelain ducks, ceramic ducks, flying along the wall, and that's what we mean. Get your ducks in a row. It's like straightening your pictures. Get everything right, and then the moon is going to enter Gemini 15:47 UTC today. So actually 7 hours before that Pacific, 4 hours before that Eastern. Because at the moment we're in what I think of as time retrograde, that the whole time thing changes completely. Well, not completely, but it all shifts by an hour and it becomes confusing because you guys in the States and Canada started your daylight time, west side or east side, on Sunday the 10th of March, as you know, and of course ours doesn't change until Sunday the 31st of March, which is also Hydesville Day, by the way, the anniversary of the first kind of spiritual contact of the modern spiritualist movement in 1847. Which is, gosh, gone on well over 100 years, and I'm delighted to be a part of that. Anyway, astrology, moon in Gemini, things get that bit scattered, and that is why we want to really be looking at the immediate past during this void, of course, period before we get there. But yeah, 1547, we've got Gemini. Real good for intellectual pursuits, actually. Quite good for finding like-minded people. And actually with Gemini, that twin thing, it can be so friendly as well as the scattering. It's great for finding people who aren't exactly like-minded and either being able to persuade them and teach them something, or them being able to teach you something. Hopefully, when it goes really well, people teach each other. In fact, I think people always want to teach each other. It just kind of depends who's listening and who isn't. So do listen if you can. Excuse me. Half moon, she's 50% full on Thursday, the 14th at 10:26 a.m. UTC. And then we've got a moon in Cancer, 21:49, and a longish void before that from 12:30, actually. So those are all UTC times, as I say, or 7 hours behind that, or 4 hours behind that in the States and Canada, 13 hours ahead in New Zealand. And I do want to say, whenever I say ahead or behind, I'm just talking about the time and the clock. I'm not saying any nation is any more backward than another, goodness me. You can never tell a thing like that. You can never say a thing like that because people are changing all the time. And we're always learning all the time. Where there are problems, there's room for things to improve. That's my opinion. So, some great stuff coming up later this week, despite the fact that Mercury is retrograde. We are actually in the non-intensified phase of Mercury retrograde. The non-intensified part of the Mercury retrograde phase. That's what I'm trying to say. That actually goes on. Let's actually have a look rather than just sit here trying randomly to remember things. Right. It actually doesn't intensify again until Saturday the 24th, and then it's all over on Thursday the 28th, which means that the decks are truly clear by the 31st. Then it's actually the post-shadow phase intensified, but the post-shadow phase is less about craziness, less about things springing up and surprising us, more about actually learning and understanding what has happened to us during the Mercury retrograde. It's almost certainly going to be something to do with communication, whether that's talking to people, your internet connection, your shoes, your cars, has your pen broken, anything to do with communication, really could be absolutely anything. So today's alignment, Sun sextile Pluto. Some want to dig deep and really kind of clean things up. Same as yesterday, actually. Some people really want things to be whiter than white, which is impractical because nothing and no one ever is. But we are always moving forward, and that's the way to look, because it's also a great time for renewal, for renovating, doing something up, making it better than it was before, and also for sharing power, which is much more constructive than is generally understood, in my humble opinion, friends. Moon sextile Mercury and Mercury's retrograde. Feelings and emotions ought to be easy to express. I'm finding it quite easy. A great time for anything around the esoteric, the spiritual, that kind of thing. Also, that's quite important. Mercury also square Jupiter. So we may kind of find very important communications coming through. So whatever people are saying to you today, just kind of listen to it. If you're going to dismiss it, fair enough, but do listen carefully to it first, even if it's coming from an unlikely source. Moral, philosophical, religious things tend to come up, and we may actually see international coming together of people as well. International meetings tend to make the news, and the way world politics is going at the moment, that's probably a good thing, but it is, of course, also a slightly scary thing. There we go. Venus is square Mars. Passions, desires are kind of heightened, but maybe a bit too much, could cause problems, particularly in relationships. And I don't just mean love relationships, I mean career things, work things, the body even, your own relationship with your own body can get involved here. So, you know, just really avoid impulses and be aware of that in the body, and be ready to sort of stake your claim or make your point if a debate comes up, because it's a good time for that. But, you know, Mercury is the messenger of the gods and is retrograde, so we just don't know. Venus square Mars, passions, desires, Mars trine Saturn, formalities, being diplomatic. So we've got kind of Venus and Mars pulling in opposite directions. But it's not as simple as Venus is women and men are Mars. I'm sure it's not quite that simple. Somebody once said to me, men come from Earth, women come from Earth, deal with it. And that's what we've really got to do, friends. Hey, thanks very, very much for watching. I really appreciate the new subscribers, all the new views. Keep it real, keep it Astro Truth. Please check out my other channel, Twig Brother, as well. I'm always uploading. There's going to be some country driving on there. We've just done some astral projection and a bit of kind of cosmic woodwork, making an astrology clock over on the Twig Brother channel. That's simple, Twig Brother. So please do check it out. Meanwhile, thanks again for watching, friends. If you've enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't, you know what to do. Leave me a comment. We'll share the journey. I enjoy that, actually, and it gives me ideas for more videos. So please do. Don't be afraid to kind of type. You know, it's really good to know who's watching. Really good to form a bond. It's a bonding exercise. That's what it is. Okay, so all that, and please share me, excuse me, share me around the internet if you can. I'll get the word out, and we'll get the word out, and we'll make it happen. Thanks very much, friends. Have a great day. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.